welcome to episode 82 of the Zines and Roger Crochet Vlogcast. Hello, how are you? You alright? I am Rosina, as you probably know. Crochet is my thing, and I've been doing quite a lot of it, regardless of whether or not there are helicopters flying overhead or budgies to my left. I've got my notebook. I'm just trying to find my notes for episode 82. It's a full page this time round. I reckon that some I'll just whiz through as side notes, and other things I will talk about in more detail. We'll see as we go along, because you know my methods, they're pretty haphazard and I just go with the flow and see where things take me. Don't I, Jackie? Yes, I do. So, have you got your cup of tea? I've got a cup of tea. I've got some crochet to do as well. I thought I could crochet while I chatted, because it's been a while since I've done that, I'm sure. It's been a while since I did a podcast, probably over a month. Although I did do a standalone episode where I talked about this cardigan, so I'm not actually going to talk about this cardigan in great detail today. I've done it already. If you want to watch that, I'll link it in the show notes, but you'll find it anyway. You'll have seen it on the YouTube channel. So just go and click on that and watch that. I did try and cover everything in that video, which is about half an hour long. If I didn't cover any information, hopefully I did talk about it, write it up in the accompanying blog post that I wrote, with lots of pictures of said cardi. And between the two, you probably, if you watched and read the blog post, you could probably work out how to make one yourself, because although I don't provide, strictly speaking, a written pattern, there's a recipe within those resources. So that's good, yeah? And also, I tell you what it has done is inspired me to create a cardigan as a written pattern. So pretty much we're working towards my first crochet garment design, official, rather than, I mean, I don't call this official because I didn't do it proper. It wasn't done properly. What was it? Is that because of my lazy bones, Jackie? Yeah. I've got loads to go through, so some of it I'm going to skirt round real fast. Let me get my crochet out. I want to start doing some hooking. What did I do with the hook though? I need the hook, right? It's not that one, is it? No. Oh, it's there. I've got it. Well, seeing as I'm doing this, I'm making the French press cardi at last. It is on my list of tricks, on my list of things to talk about. So I started it at the weekend. I am using, before I forget to mention, Drops Alaska. Yarn group C, whatever that means. It's 50 grams and you get 70 metres or 77 yards to the 50 grams. The pattern, and I did print it off, calls for an Aran weight yarn. Now I thought when I first got this yarn that it was Aran weight yarn, but I'm beginning to think after my second project with it that it's a chunky. So this is the French press cardi. It's by Tony Lipsey from TL Yarn Crafts. I'm sure you've seen it and heard about it. It's sort of quite a casual, almost like not quite a real cardigan. It's got no buttons. It's sort of a loose fit, casual garment, I guess. And I think probably a good one to start if you've never made a garment before, because the construction is dead straightforward. There is a link in that pattern where Tony's created an hour-long video talking you through all the stages. So if you were anxious about making a garment, you've got that set up, you've got that help, which I found really useful, because even sort of the written pattern as a standalone, I started reading it and I was just like, hang on, I don't understand why I'm starting on the left sleeve and then going straight onto a neck. What's that all about? And I hadn't really paid much. If I'd paid attention properly, I would have understood what that meant, but I was too lazy to actually sort of try and process that construction from the written pattern. So I just checked out the video and went, oh yeah, of course it's that. Mine's working up slightly because it's a chunkier yarn. It would have worked up larger than I wanted it. So actually I've knocked off a few stitches to make it smaller, probably more like the intended size of the small medium. I think it comes in 3 different sizes, but those 4 different sizes. You've got small / medium as one size, then large / XL as another, a 2XL / 3XL, 1, 2, 3, no, that is 3 sizes, but sort of like, you know, each size represents a couple of different sizes, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm thinking that this will work up to be about the sort of size of the small medium, even though I'm using fewer stitches. He's only talking because I'm talking, probably. I'm sorry if you don't like budgie squeaks. I do. Anywho, the yarn I knew was chunkier than perhaps a standard Aran, because this yarn I used in a previous jumper I made that I can't remember the name of, but it was in Cassie Ward's garment book. Cassie is the missing yarn on Instagram, and I made one of her jumpers from that book, and it was so big that I frogged it, and it's now becoming the French press cardi. I got told off. Okay, context. I took part in a Zoom chat that was live for BKL, which is Vogue Knitting Live. A few weeks ago, Claudia from Crochet Luna approached myself, Heather from HG Designs Crochet, Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast, and Alison from Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast. There were 4 of us. Have I said 4? Me, Heather, Faye and Alison. I am the 4th person, so Claudia contacted all of us and asked us if we wanted to take part in Vogue Knitting Live for an hour-long panel session about crochet in the UK. Am I deliberately scratching my face? Because my mum told me off. I sent her a link to this panel thing we did, and I said, oh, did you enjoy it? And she went, you touched your face so many times. I was like, yeah, but did you enjoy it? I don't think she did. I just got told off for tinkering, playing with my hair, probably umming and ahhing, and I've just caught myself doing that, which is why I've been sidetracked into remembering that, yes, it's really hard not to. Have you tried doing a podcast? Have you tried filming yourself? Have you tried doing a Zoom chat even? Or attending an interview when you're supposed to be on your best behaviour and presenting yourself really well? We know, for example, that interview panels are put off by too many sort of hesitations with the ums and the ers and the filler guff. Although I have to say, I myself am an interviewer as part of my normal, my desk job, and I have to say that it doesn't, I've never sort of taken points away from anybody for doing it too much, but maybe I just never interviewed anybody that's done it that much that it grated. Oh god, now I'm gonna notice. We'll see. I've got some interviews on Thursday and Friday. I'll watch my candidates and see if they do it. And if they do, then I'm not going to judge because it's hard. Completely lost where I was going with that. I was probably talking about the French press cardigan, was I? That's the trouble when you start. That's a hazard of this process. Anyway, seeing as I was talking about VKL, it was really good fun and I loved it. I really loved it. What did my mum say about it? Because so we're on the phone on Sunday, and that was the only thing she said. And then afterwards, I sent her a text and I said, "But did you actually like it?" Yes, I liked the idea. Thanks, Mum. I thought it was brilliant. It was really nice chatting about crochet, not just crochet in the UK, but crochet in general, about what it means to be a crocheter. I don't know if it's still available because you had to buy a ticket for the weekend, and I think VKL does it once a month. Whether or not it's there forever, and if you were to buy a ticket to the marketplace for whatever VKL, it'd still be there. I don't know if you'd find a link to it or not. Hopefully you caught it. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell VKL peeps. But I gave the link to the guys over at Patreon. So all of my patrons got to watch it as well. If they hadn't managed to catch it the first time round, I sent them a link too. Which is still there on Patreon, I guess. And will be. I'm not taking it down unless I get my knuckles wrapped by the big bosses. But they're not going to see this probably, so it's fine. If I was asked again to take part, I absolutely would. Thank you to Claudia, who is just like this mega awesome business. I was going to say business guru, but it's not even that. It's just like she just is so proactive and like gets an idea and goes with it and does it. Whereas I get an idea and go, that's a good idea, but I don't know how to do it. I'll just sit on that for a while. I wish I could be more like her. It's amazing. But I'm not going to gush because I don't want to make myself look like a sycophant. Even though I do love you, Claudia, very much. Thank you. Right. I was just wondering what else I could say about it actually before I move on, because it is important that we do have discussions about crochet and try and make it the best it can be. As you know, I'm a great advocate of shouting loudly about how brilliant crochet is, and I want it out there and I want it to have that same admiration and that same respect that perhaps other people give to knitting. I see it as equal to all the other crafts and not some little sister or something that only old ladies do whilst knitting is the cool thing. No. I think you know how I feel about crochet, and I'm assuming because you're here you feel the same way too, right? Okay. So let me just say one more thing, and that is this is not the end of it. This is not the end of me and my peers shouting very loudly in joyous voices about the awesomeness of crochet. I think people are starting to hear, which is good, yeah? Right, so I started the French breast guardie over the weekend probably. The construction, as I said, is pretty simple and one, yeah. If you haven't made a garment before and you want to try one, this is perfect. You start from one cuff of an arm and you go across create kind of a bit of shaping for a neck, and then work your way to the other cuff. It's done in a flat piece, and then you fold it in half and make a few stitches from about here to here on both ends to create the sleeves, and then you begin to work the body. So I have done that bit, and I am that much into doing the body. There's a lot more to go, but it's a very simple stitch pattern repeat, and I'll just keep going until I've got the length I want. I could probably, I'll take heed of what it says in the pattern, you know, and won't get carried away. I want it to be sort of a decent length, perhaps, so I can wear it to work. I wish I'd made the sleeves longer. I followed like the recommended bit of patterning for that, and I do wish I'd made them longer, so not so that they're at my wrist, but I've got a feeling that they're going to come up to here. Oh well, I could try it on. I haven't yet. I'm really pleased with the button band on this cardigan, you know. I did a mini tutorial in the other video on how I did it, but I'm gonna I want to do a double knit version and do it properly. That will be probably my first garment. I say that, but you know what I'm like. Oh, okay, so that's not too bad actually. And do you know what I'm going to do is I shall block it. Oh, it's going to be like this. I will block it. This is 100% wool, is it? I can feel it. It feels very woolly. 100% wool, you see. So this will block, and if I mistreat this too much, it's going to felt like a very felty thing. Gosh, I've got an awful long way to go before I hit my waist. I think it'll work up quite fast though. Well, that's not too bad, is it? I was hoping that maybe it would come to here, but if I blocked it like quite aggressively, it might. But then I don't want to make it too swampy. Could just stop there, walk around like that. Eat me. I'm not looking forward to the ribbing section of going all the way up and around. It's single crochet ribbing, US single crochet. That takes some time. I'm going to put this one back on because it's a bit nippy. I realised that I haven't sewn it up very well, and I've got a little bit of gape on my armpit. This is oversized and boxy, which is fine for just chilling out as a casual cardi. I'm not fussed. I probably won't wear it out, because I don't want to look bigger than I already am, and lockdown has not been kind to me and my belly. So I don't need extra bulk. It depends. I think if you're like a size 6, you can get away with boxy and oversize. But if you are top heavy and gaining extra pounds, it's not the best. I know I'm not the only one that actually likes to wear more fitted garments so that people can see that I'm just not a massive boob. A pair of boobs. Right. What else do I want to talk about? Have you got any more questions about the French press? Should I come back to it another day when I've actually finished and I can talk about it in a bit more detail then? I think I've said all that I need to say for now, haven't I? I wonder what's on my list. Because I do have lots of yarn. Because I was talking to somebody the other day and I was saying, gosh, I've saved so much money by not, not going anywhere, not doing anything. And then the person I spoke to was just like, oh no, I've just been spending. It's so easy to do online shopping. And then I went, oh, I want to do online shopping too. And so I've bought yarn. Shall I talk about that next? I've got loads of patterns to talk to you about that are mine. One that is not, or more than that. Oh, I've just noticed as well. I was watching Caroline's podcast the other day. That's Mind and Muse. Hi, Caroline. And Caroline and Clarissa Perth, I think they've decided to do a crochet along for this cardigan. So do check out their podcasts and their blogs and stuff for more details. I think it's starting on the 1st of November. Oh, I haven't written down the date, but I'm pretty sure Caroline said something about the 1st of November. Maybe if Caroline watches this, or Clarissa Perth, I don't know, but they could leave a comment down below. Or, I don't know. Right. Okay. I'm going to start ticking some stuff off because I'm getting a little confused about what I'm going to talk about and what I'm going to forget to talk about, because that is not all. Oh, last time I totally forgot to tell you that I had made a quick tassel tutorial, so I'm just mentioning that here. If you want to go and check it out, how to make a tassel. Oh, as luck would have it, I never tidy anything away. Basically tassel. If you wanted to make some of these, for whatever purpose, then there's a tutorial for that. I made some of mine for a purpose which I can't talk about yet. What else can I quickly whiz through? Tick that one. I'm not going to talk about those. Okay. I'm in a magazine. One of my designs is in a magazine. This is the latest issue of Inside Crochet magazine, issue 129. Oh my goodness, check out that jumper. It's amazing. It's Sandra of Nomad Stitches, of course, who is the most fabulous crochet garment designer. Just amazing. I think I would love to make it, but I just think for me it's too busy on the top. She says wearing a really busy top. I like to keep my jazz down, waist down. It's true. Like, a lot of my trousers, unless I'm just wearing jeans, but a lot of my other trousers are very sort of bold patterns, or plaid, or different, bright colours. Some of my trousers are, or skirts. So yeah, jazz waist down, please. What am I doing? I'm trying to find my pan. Oh, I quite like that. That reminds me of a proper 80s crochet design stuff. My nana would have made me a jumper like that in the 80s, I swear. It would have been knitted though. My nana knitted garments and crocheted blankets, much like many of her generation. I'm not in it. I have not submitted any new ideas for Inside Crochet because I need a clean slate, and I got so bogged down with commissions and whatnot that I decided not to do any for about 6 months. I'm going to reassess sort of maybe January, February and see how I am. Because I do really enjoy working for the magazines, and I know I'm not alone in believing working to a deadline, someone else's deadline, means I will meet that deadline. Because Faye and I were talking about this, probably on Zoom again. But if it's your own deadline, you can push it back and back and back and back. But if it's for a magazine deadline, then there's no pushing it back. I've never missed a deadline, and I've been doing it for 2.5 years. I don't actually know how many times I've submitted designs for magazines now, but I know that none of them have ever been missed. Anywho, this is my latest design. It's probably in that cupboard. I'll get it out. No point showing you a blurry picture. There you go. This is Baskerville. I can't remember the brief now. Something to do with like autumn and tweeds and stuff. So I went with the houndstooth stitch, and that is why it's called Baskerville, because hound of the Baskervilles, hound stitch. I just think it's a really good name for a crochet design anyway. Baskerville. Went up to Dartmoor a couple of weeks ago. Didn't go to Hound Tour though. Went to Pew Tour. It's very nice. So this is made with 2 100-gram skeins of stuff from the Knitting Shed. Really nice actually, like tweedy, nappy, slubby. What's it called? Yeah, one's definitely got a nep on it, and I don't think the other one did, but it did have speckle, which I very much like. Do you know, I haven't taken a proper photograph of this. I was going to try and pinch the ones from Inside Crochet, but they haven't sent them yet. I've sent an email. Do you like it? It's a good one because it pretty much uses up the entire lot of wool you've got, so there's no leftovers. And sometimes I like that. I don't like adding to stash if I don't, if I can help it, then I don't want to do that. So you can choose to wear it singular, or who am I kidding? You wear it like this, don't you? You double it up. So yeah, it's called the Knitting Shed, but Ainsworth and Prynne is something as well. I don't know what that means. Anyway, that's out now. But of course at some point I will release it as a standalone. Let me tick, 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 tick. I was trying not to talk too much about anything in particular. I wanted it not to be an hour-long episode. But my idea of whizzing through things, I still end up talking for about 45 minutes after all the edits, so who knows how long this one will be. I also bought a book. Did I put it away? Put it away. Oh my god. This has been in my wish list for years. And finally I went, do you know what, just buy it. You want to get into garments, buy it. It will be a good resource. A good book to learn some stuff from, because I understand that it has actually got an awful lot of detail in it about construction. See? Just opening it up to one page, it looks like that. You can tell that it's got a lot of methodology and stuff. It's been on my wish list for ages, as I said. I do like all of the things, but I think that I don't like anything enough to actually ever make the specific things designs in this book. But that's not the point. The point is that it will help me in my own endeavours within crochet design. Anyway, I was flipping through it and I was just like, yeah, that's cool. Brilliant. How useful. How... Yes. And then, like, it was only in a few pages. Well, it was a few pages in. And lo and behold, there's this picture. And what's it called? What's that dress called? It's called Rosina. That's me. That's my name. I'm in a book. I probably should make it just because it's called me, but I don't like it. So it wouldn't suit me. It's pretty, but I'm not sure how I feel about crochet dresses, unless it was like a wedding dress or something, and it was almost like I've seen them where they're a top, a slip underneath, and they do look beautifully delicate and lacy and stuff like that. But I'm not beautifully delicate and lacy, so Anyway, I was just like, why did nobody tell me this? Why did nobody tell me that there was a design named after me? It's not named, it's coincidence. But also, oh my goodness, there's one called Luna. Did you know that, Claudia? Amazing. Wouldn't it be really spooky if I started flicking through this and they were all called, like, there was one called Clarissabeth and there was one called Faye, and oh my goodness. There's not, I don't think. No, I don't know any podcasters called Janelle or, let's have a look, Zora. Oh, that's so close to Zelda. Not enough though. Nanette. No, don't know Nanette. I'm not going to go through all the names, don't worry. So I bought this with Jadora Orenstein, who also has done a couple of... I've got another one of her books, which is another good a good book for not just sort of patterns, but actual proper crochet learning. A good book for that, and that one is that one about the corners and stuff, which I got. I think I put it on. I had that one on pre-order. I knew I wanted that one. Anyway, that was just a little bit of excitement. You're probably just like, whatever. Look, in my life, bearing in mind that I'm 41, I have met one other Rosina, possibly two, with the second one I've forgotten. I definitely met one other Rosina. Didn't know who she was, but she came up to me in a shop when I was working in a shop years ago, like when I was a teenager, and she said, "Hello, Rosina." And I was just like, hello, as if I was supposed to know her, that it was some sort of secret club. I didn't automatically know she was a Rosina too. Anyway, she told me that that was her name. She was a member of the WI that had gathered just down the way, and she just happened to pop into this shop I was working at, and I thought it was funny anyway. And then actually number two is not a human but a dolly. I was working in an FE college doing my human resources job, so we're going back 12 years maybe, and a woman came in and she said, "Is that your name?" And I was just like, "Yes." She said, "My daughter's dolly is called Rosina and I have no idea why she called it that. We don't know anybody called it, we don't know where she got it from, but one day she just announced that her dolly was called Rosina." There you go. I hope I haven't told that story before. I always thought it was like really weird, not weird, or lovely I suppose, and just sort of like, oh, that's unusual. Right, we're getting places, don't worry. I do have other crochet things to talk about. It's all crochet related in some shape or form. Okay, let's move on to some actual more showing of more crochet. Do you want to come down and be seen, mister? Come on then. I made this using like King Cole sent a box of yarn again, and this was like a ridiculously chunky yarn, and I thought I have no idea what I'm going to use that for. Oh, it's October I'll Crochet Spider. And as you know, I have talked about this on the podcast probably last October and the October before, and if I did a podcast the October before that I would have mentioned it then if I'd released it. But I have a free spider tutorial on YouTube, and it makes this dude. It's also a blog post with the written pattern, and I really like him actually. Oh, he's quite cute. What annoys me the most is that there's another tutorial on YouTube where a woman has completely ripped off my pattern, and it's such a weird construction, I think, for a spider that I don't understand how she would have thought about the same construction, the same method, unless she'd pinched it from me. And I commented last year, I went, oh, that looks familiar, that looks like a Zines and Roger pattern, and she deleted my comment. So therefore, that makes me believe she's pilfered it and she's peddling it as her own tutorial. She's got like thousands of views on it as well. It pisses me off. It's my spider. Oh, I was going to say a rude word then. Hands off. Oh, I wish I'd... What have I done with that one? I also made, and I've lost it, so I don't know. At some random point in the future, I'm going to come across a spider down the back of the sofa and absolutely poo my pants. Because I cannot find it. But I've made the smallest spider I can, as well as the largest, and I've made it out of gold. Twillies, I think it's called. I mean, this is so fine, it's ridiculous. I used like a 1.5 or a 2mm hook. And I got very excited when I made my gold sparkly spider. I'll still poo my pants when I come across it, whenever that is. Don't know where it's gone. It's a shame because I wanted to show you. Oh, found him. To be honest, it just looks like a bunched up bit of old threaded. Oh man, sorry mate. I shouldn't be so mean, should I? Oh, he's got such gammy legs. I'm so sorry, my darling. I know. I need to... it was a rush job. It looks like roadkill. Honestly, in real life he looks better. And it's just because the legs are sort of like all twisted. I think the yarn perhaps isn't conducive to spider making. Maybe if I sort of... I could probably manipulate that with some glue. If I painted his legs with PVA and waited for it to dry a little bit, I could probably contort him into a proper spider shape. But yes, right now I'm willing to admit that it looks a bit like a failure. That spider, the big one, has been hanging up from the bookshelf. He's hanging down. Let's talk some pattern releases, because I do have a few. And I just wanted to tick them off the list. Oh, it started raining really heavily all of a sudden. I just wanted to tick them off to say Go Your Own Way is now released. That's that big giant red shawl that I talked about in episode 81. I've not got it down, I'm not going to go and get it. It's sort of in a nest in my youngest son's bed. He's definitely adopted it and he loves it, so I'm not going to go and get it and interfere with his stuff. And then Brighter Future. This is called Brighter Future. I talked about this at some point, didn't I? Did I? Can't remember. This is now released. So the pattern is properly tech edited and stuff. It is a cowl with a V pointy jobby. It has that pattern detailing and then this mesh edge with some scallops. You could do it all in one colour. I think I could probably make this look a bit more modern if I use different coloured yarns. I am not 100% keen. I mean, as much as I love green and pink, I think this sort of looks a little bit old school, and I reckon I could make it look really contemporary with the use of different colours, but I haven't got time to mess around with that. Although it would be nice to do that. Maybe either all in one colour, which is sort of speckly or something, or maybe three colours. But cowls that kind of look like triangles are good because they ain't going anywhere as soon as you get them around your neck. Much like my granny one, which was really popular actually, and I love it, and I would like to make myself another one because the magazine that was featured in kept the original version, which is fine, fair dues. Then I made another version, but I didn't actually end up liking the colours I used. I saw somebody else's and I was just like, I want one like yours. That happens all the time, you wouldn't believe it. Like, as a designer, I make stuff and then somebody will buy my pattern, they'll make a version and I'll see it and go, oh, that looks really nice. So that's out. And then also I did a free one as well, which is a video tutorial. Oh goodness. So I'll leave links to all of these in the show notes, which will be linked in the description box below. This is just a very nice super chunky scarf with just blocks of different colours. I alternated solid with not solid. This one is my fave, this pinky one. I really like that, which is unusual for me. I wouldn't necessarily choose to use it in much of my work, but in this I like it. It's King Cole Timeless King Cole Explorer mixed together, and I was given that yarn for free because, as you know, I'm an ambassador, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so I hope I know I'm rushing this and I'm sorry, but I just want to get through everything. It turns out that doing a monthly podcast vlogcast might not be the way to go. I've got so much stuff to talk about that I'm now going, oh Christ, what am I going to miss? So maybe I'll reevaluate. I was thinking also, I was very sorely tempted to do a separate video that was literally going to be a video all about my neckwear. So the cowls, the scarves and the shawls is just one video, but then I just thought, I haven't got time this month. Just bang it all together. I'm still sort of like working out the best moves as to how it would work going forward. But one of the reasons why I did the J.W. Anderson inspired cardigan as a separate video was because I couldn't talk about that in depth, not as much as I wanted to in a regular podcast, just because we would be here forever, which is fine, but it takes an awful long time to do all the editing and stuff and uploading, and just when you sort of you edit, when I edit I then have to compress it into one file, and sort of that can be the longest process sometimes, and it quite often means the difference between publishing on like a whole 24 hours later. I have to wait sometimes. I mean, it doesn't take that long to do, but just the nature of it and what my schedule is like. Tonight, for example, is yoga, so I won't, well, presumably, because she keeps cancelling all the time. Like last week, she wasn't going to have enough people attend, so she said, well, there's only 3 of you said yes, so I'm not going to open the hall just for 3 of you, so it's cancelled. I'm never going to learn how to do yoga at this rate. side moan. Ooh. I pinged a pen across the room. Side moan. Right. So that was a quick, I'm ticking 3 things off my list there with the new releases that have sort of all occurred over the last few weeks. As usual, I have fibre in my eye. Very annoying. If you wanted to take a break now, I fully understand, because I feel like I've been talking for ages. So if you wanted to, you can. I still have more stuff to talk about. Crochet. It's all crochet. Including a call for testers and what else? Oh, yarn and a couple of new projects that I'm going to start. Okay. Oh, and before I do those, before I talk about either of those things, this morning I updated an old pattern because it's like my bestseller and it was wrong. So I couldn't sit on it any longer knowing that it was wrong. And it's this one, which you will have seen, but I'm going to show you again anyway. Havana Nights. Named after the masterpiece that is Dirty Dancing 2. So we're talking a C2C, corner to corner with a chevron in it. One of my all-time favourite designs, and it's proved to be really popular. I'm really pleased. But the pattern itself was, it had a couple of errors in it, and I didn't know. I hadn't noticed until somebody pointed it out. And I can't believe it has been this long and nobody else has ever said, did you know? I mean, to be honest with you, if you know how to do C2C anyway, you may not have read where the error was, because actually if you just look at the chart, that's all you need. So maybe nobody ever really looked at the instructions. I went through it this morning and I noticed actually there were a couple of other sort of things that I wasn't happy with either. So I made those changes, and then I re-uploaded it onto the usual platforms. That is Lovecraft, Etsy and Ravelry. Those that bought it via Ravelry should get an automatic email update with the new pattern. I don't know how to update people that bought it from Etsy or Lovecraft, other than anybody who buys it subsequently will get the new version. So I did that this morning and I'm glad actually. I think probably the chart needs redoing again because it's not crisp. And I want it to be like as crisp and crystal clear as it can be. And I was going to link the stitch fiddle chart to the pattern so people could just click on it. And then I realised I had never done it on Stitch Fiddle. I did it on a rubbish old Excel spreadsheet and I can't share that. All these things are lessons, aren't they? Okay. Cold too. Before I talk about all the new yarn I've bought, I've got a new design I want to show you, and I want to ask you a favour. So I do. So it's, can you hear footprints? Wrist warmers and mittens, because in this part of the world it's autumn, we're going into winter. So I've designed a pair of mittens that are also wrist warmers. So here I would like to show you the wrist warmers. Excuse the nails. So those are the wrist warmers. But the real star of the show, pair of mittens, which I love. Love, love, love. And I can't show you all of them because I made a pair for my youngest sister for her birthday, and I've given those to her. But those were just 2 different colours. But these are multicoloured stripes of mittens. And for my sister I did all orange stripes. And they look really nice, proper autumnal mitts. And so, anyway, these are called Ansem. Alright me Ansem? Which is I was going to say a Devonshire saying, but actually some people would argue that it was Cornish. So let's say it's a southwest saying. Alright me Ansem? As if to say, hello. And I thought they were rather handsome. So the yarn I used is Yarnadelic, which is from John Arbon Textiles, which is a Devon yarn spinner, mill, dyer, all that shebang. So Yarnadelic is a plump 4-ply, I would say. It sort of says heavy 4-ply / sport weight. And it is, I think it's like Corriedale, which is a type of sheep. And I'm after testers. Would you like to test? It's out being tech edited this week. So next week I'd be able to send it, the pattern, to those that want to test it. Now it comes in 3 different sizes, you see. And these are the medium ones. But I would like to see, if you've got tiny hands or big hands, would you be up for testing the small or the large size? I'm alright for medium, I've tested the medium. But what I would say is that medium, I don't need testers for. So my wrist is 14.5 centimetres. My sister's wrist is 16 centimetres. And she's 18 centimetres across here and I'm 17 centimetres across here. From here to here, I am 19 centimetres and she is 20 centimetres. And we both fit the medium. So if you're under that, under those measurements or over those measurements, if you fancy testing, I would send you the all the contrast colours, but I can't send you a skein of the main skein, unfortunately. But I can get you a 10% discount if you wanted to buy one to be a tester, which I know is a big ask. I know it is. But I have enough of the contrast colours that I can send them to you. So I'm talking to like UK peeps here, probably. Or at least Europe, because it would take that much longer to get it anywhere else. Plus postage would be a shocker. So if you're UK based, willing to give me your address so I can send you some contrast colours, and willing to get yourself a skein of Yarnadelic, or if you've already got a skein of Yarnadelic, you wouldn't even need a whole skein, you probably need about, definitely I would say, well see, I don't even know if it's definite, I'm going to have to weigh these, but I think probably like 50 grams of the main colour for a small or under, and then maybe a bit more for the large. Yeah, I know it's a lot to ask, because if I was going to be doing testing, then I would say normally use whatever you like, and I don't want you to go out and buy more yarn, as if that's a hardship, but you know what I mean. For some people it is. Give me a shout, zinsandroger@gmail.com, and I understand, you know, if you think that I remember doing it on the testing pool a couple of years ago, asking for a specific yarn, and people had such a go at me. You can't do that. You need to give people the freedom to choose whatever yarn they want if you're going to get them to do your testing for you. Sorry. Well, so if somebody's up for it, they're up for it. If they're not, then that's fine. I'll come up with a different approach. But I'm just putting the request out there, just in case. Thank you. But yeah, I do have bits and bobs of sort of other colours, you see. You know, I could send, not all of that, I would wind it off however much you needed, because I would, if you know, I had more than one tester, then obviously I'm going to have to divide this. So, it just seems so mean. Here, have like have a scrap of different coloured yarns. It would be enough to do the mince. I'll shut up. You know what I'm saying. I hope. If you don't, ask me questions and I will have more information. I would say as well, it's not for brand new beginners. Other than that, let's move on. But I really like them, and I'm going to release them as soon as that's all done. Okay. Oh, I've got such a headache. I woke up with a headache this morning. Took some paracetamol, and the headache went. But in the last half an hour, it started to come back. Wrong book. I've got too many notebooks. I'm addicted to a notebook though. Something about stationery, isn't there? Guess who's just had a message to say that yoga's been cancelled again. And it won't be on next week because it's half term. I was saying, these two are long dog yarns. Which is, I think, yeah, an LA based yarn dyer, and I just absolutely loved these colours, and I hadn't seen anything like it before, and I desperately needed them, so I asked Claudia if she would arrange for them to be sent over. I mean, I probably could have, it's a longer story than that, so I probably could have just done the order myself, but the story's longer than that and I can't be bothered to go into it, and it's not important anyway. So this one was Wild Child. It's kind of like an oatmeal-y colour with green, russet and acid yellow speckles in it. And it was this colourway that made me, I needed it. So I got 2 skeins. And to go with, I also got 2 skeins of this, which is called something else. Twilight. Which was dyed to order. Yeah, hand dyed in sunny California. And holy cow, these are as beautiful a yarn that I ever did see. I am in love with this blue, it's stunning. And initially I kind of had a couple of ideas about what I wanted to do with it, but I was always sort of a bit reticent and didn't really want to use it on just anything. And I was waiting for that special project. You know how like you've probably got a whole stash of yarn waiting for those special projects, and those special projects never come along, so you may as well just make anything, and that thing you make will become beautiful because of the yarn that's so special. No. This had to be proper special, and I've waited and I've waited and I found my project. So I think this is going to look really good in that jumper. Really good. And I can't wait to get started, but I want to do it properly. I want to do a proper job. Proper job. So those 2 colourways are long dog yarns. My 2 other colourways are from Beehive Yarns. My caking skills are a bit naff, so it's all coming undone. Are you coming up from the centre as well? Silly. Anyway, this is called Cemetery Gates, and actually it's like a black grey, and it's just as stunning actually as this electric blue, and it goes beautifully. Really nice. And to go with this sort of oatmeal with acid green, I've got a cream with acid pink. This is really squishily wound because my son did it. and I have been playing with it as well, so it's like not great. It's beautiful. This one's called, I don't know, I can't remember, Radio Clash. So from Beehive Yarns, and I love Beehive Yarns. I've used Beehive Yarns before. I think her name is Beth, and she's got beautiful colourways, and the names for all of her different bases, they're all sort of they all are to do with sort of retro vintage names. So this is on the Dolly base. So Cemetery Gates and Radio Clash. All of them, all of the yarns are 100% merino. So there's no nylon in it whatsoever. They are all superwash. So I've got those to play with. I think it's going to be real good. And this, yeah, so the Wild Child will be my centre colour. It's going to be so good. It's half term next week, so I think I might have this as my half term project. It'll probably take me a couple of weeks to do along with everything else, but I'm so excited. Where are you coming from? You put it in a bag and it just takes on a life of itself. I swear they're having a party in here. As soon as I put it down, everything comes unravelled. Watch this space for progress. And then, so I bought that. Like the long dog stuff, like I said, I've had for a couple of years, but the Beehive Yarns was deliberate purchases for that Colourpop sweater. But I also bought a couple of skeins of yarn from, is it Bird Street UK, or is that the bag side of it? Or Mr. B, Mr. Yarn B. Oh, I bought some stuff from there, which has just gone in my collection. And then, just keeping an eye on the time because my goodness, this is going to be a big episode. I think I'm going to have to go back to 2 weeks, but I'm going to have to just give up work. I'll give up my main job and just concentrate on crochet. Right, over the last, I haven't just bought all of this in one fell swoop. Like this is Loom Yarns, which is a yarn dyer from Taunton, which isn't far up the road. But everything else is from Folkestone Harbour Yarns. And I was introduced to Folkestone Harbour Yarns when I did make the granny cowl for Molly Makes, because that yarn was given to me to make the project. And actually, I really enjoyed working with Folkestone Harbour Yarns. So over the last sort of year or so, every now and again I buy a couple of skeins. And it's sort of added up to a collection. Oh, where have you gone? One's gone under the sofa. Oh, by the way, yeah, so I bought, it's called Mr. B, like the other yarn I bought. This was one of the colours. I may use this if I run out of the other stuff and blend it in, but I don't think I will. And failing that, this is actually put aside because I think I'll need additional yarn for this project, that another one I want to start. So anyway, in a couple of different purchases, I have bought these skeins from Folkestone Harbour Yarns. They're all also 100% merino, but these are not superwash. So they've not been treated, and therefore if you use and abuse these, then they will felt. It's fine by me because I love all wool, and I want to play with all and see what they all do and how they work differently. I mean, not religiously, but just sort of with a bit of casual curiosity, and make a vague mental note once it's all happened. I'm not going to be able to show them all in one go, but I'll take a photograph if I can in this dull, dark, dank day. So it's these ones, a light sort of minty green colour that's rolled onto the sofa, and I can't remember which ones I've just shown, but also and these as well. And this one, which is the last ball of wool that I had left over from the Leaping Waves cowl I did maybe last year. So this is a blacker Falkland merino that's a double knit. It's all double knit. And I'm going to make a cardigan. And this will be my proper cardigan design. I started swatching the other day, and I swatched on the 4.5mm hook, but I'm going to go down. I wasn't keen on the 4.5, so I'll go down. And I'm going to try not to rush any of this. I want to sort of just like take it easy. I've got no commissions on my books now, so unless something like crazy comes up that I say yes to, hopefully I can do these things justice and give them the attention they deserve, rather than sort of flitting from one thing to another, rather, you know, and also saying I'm going to do this and saying I'm going to do that, and then do nothing and do something completely different. I'm also knitting a jumper, which I talked about ages ago. I did a few rows last night. I am also doing sort of some general other bits and bobs, but I think slowly but surely I am ticking things off the list that have been on there for a really long time, and I said I had to finish before I started new stuff. And arguably that is actually happening. So I feel okay. I feel that's all right. And actually, you know, there was a time when I was feeling really overwhelmed about it all and just sort of panicking a bit. But I'm getting back on track, which I like. I'm never going to be a one project person ever. I just can't. That's just not in my nature. But hopefully, you know, I can start ticking off a few things. Okay, so I haven't finished the Acre pullover yet. Have I picked it up in the last 3 months? No, but I will. Oh well. Right, I think that's enough, don't you? Let me just consult my notes. That was me putting on a pair of glasses, if you couldn't tell. I've lost my pen. Okay, so there are a couple of things on my list of notes that I'm not going to mention. Maybe I'll bring them up next time. But I think we've run out of time, really. I've gone on enough. You've got stuff to do. Right. So I just wanted to say as a last thing, thank you so much for everything you said last episode. You guys left some really lovely comments. So it was really nice to read them. I'm so glad I'm not boring most of you. Although after this feature-length episode, maybe you'll change your mind. It really does mean so much. I was just really happy about it. It was nice because sometimes, I mean, okay, those that are bored probably aren't going to go, yeah, actually you are really dull. So the point is, thank you very much. We'll just play it by ear. I've got some ideas about how I want to do videos in the future. It would be things like doing separate episodes for specific projects. But I just wanted to do sort of, I felt like I needed to have a proper catch up. We hadn't had a catch up in a while, had we? So I felt I needed to do that before I start sort of breaking it down into smaller, more specific episodes. That was an idea I had, to see if it would work, see if it would sort of be a bit more sort of snappy, I guess. Or maybe I shouldn't ever want to be snappy. Maybe I should just want to do it how I do it. But it's sort of a balance between listening to your audience, listening to those who are with you, and also trying to evolve and change. Because if you're the same forever, then that, in my opinion, is no good either. Of course you don't want to mess with the recipe if it works, but if it doesn't, you know, you need to tweak it. So we shall see. It's all about playing and experimenting, and I'll just sort of go with the flow a little bit. If you made it this far, well done. I'll see you again next time. Thank you so much. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe, Patreon, Ko-fi, all of the usual places. I'm really sorry about the bird. I'm not at all, because he's beautiful. Apart from he's quite aggressive. Sometimes if he doesn't want to come out and you try and make him come out, he will peck you and attack you, tell you where to go. Right, until next time, cheerio, bye bye.